Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Angola Plan Commission meeting for January 12th, 2026. Roll call.
Brill Carpenter is out. Amanda Coe. Here. Josh Fletcher is also out. Tina King.
Present.
Jack Verana.
Here.
Jennifer Sharkey is not here. Chris Thomas.
Here.
Jeff Peters is not here. Nick Sutton.
Here.
Susan Ralston.
Here.
And we have one vacant ETJ spot. Austin Boudreaux.
Present.
City Attorney Kim Schaub.
Here.
I am here. Director Retha Hicks and Planner and Secretary Grace Essman. Here. Okay, we do just have a quorum. Thank you all for coming.
All right. So with that being said, we do have the board minutes for last December 8th, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
And second?
Second.
Okay. Is there any old business?
There is not. I will tell you guys, you've got a big packet here tonight, so we'll go through that a little bit later. But some of this you'll need to take home with you. So this is not a public hearing tonight. It's just a public meeting because we have nothing on the agenda and we should be out pretty quickly, but we do have a lot to get through.
All right. So with that being new business, I guess the first agenda item is election.
So we will be doing nominations for president, vice president, and secretary. And I will just also say before you do nominations, typically the staff is nominated as secretary. I am going to pass that role to Grace. So when we get there, we can just throw that in on that nomination. But I'm passing that baton to her this year. Would you like me to do?
Yeah, because I don't know the procedure.
Okay.
Please.
So we currently, your president is Susan Ralston, your vice president is Jack Verana, and then, as I stated, I am listed as secretary. So are there any nominations on the floor for president?
I'll nominate Susan again.
Okay. Susan, are you really willing to accept that nomination?
I will.
Okay, so we just need a second.
I'll second.
Second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Are there any other nominations? Are we good in that? Okay. So, sorry, just a second here. Are there any nominations on the floor for vice president?
I nominate Jack. Am I allowed to nominate?
Yeah.
Okay, I nominate Jack.
Jack, would you accept that again?
Yes.
As vice president? Okay. Do we have a second?
I second that.
Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Gosh, you guys are making this easy. Sometimes everybody's like dead silent and no nominations. You're like, okay, somebody please. And then secretary.
Nominate Grace.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and I will let you guys know Jeff Peters was unable to be here, but he did said he would like to continue as the liaison to the County Plan Commission. So if you guys are okay with that, we'll just appoint him in that position again. So we will keep Jeff there. Okay, thanks guys. You made that very easy, and thank you both for accepting those nominations again. And Grace is going to go over a review of rules and procedures. And you have these in your packet, so if you kind of look through.
So June of 24, you guys all voted to amend the rules and procedures to remove the plat committee. But I noticed that there's still some language in here about the plat committee. So sections 211, 3.8, and 6.7 all talk about the plat committee. So we are looking to remove those. We're not gonna vote on it tonight. I just wanted to bring attention to the fact that we are going to amend this. Hopefully by next meeting, we will have a draft to vote on. But our ask would be that you guys take some homework and go through these and see if there's any other either discrepancies or any suggestions on what else could be changed. One other thing is section 7.3, is it references an address review committee as well that we've never had or used, so we just eliminate that from the verbiage on there too. So just kind of cleaning it up a little bit. But like I said, we'll have a draft ready for you for the next meeting and then we can vote on it at that point.
And if you guys notice anything between now and the next meeting, so I will tell you that at this point, we did not get any applications for February. So chances are we will just cancel that February meeting. But if you look at this and you think, hey, something needs to be amended, or I don't agree with this, or maybe we should add, look it through as thoroughly as you have time to do, and shoot Grace an email with anything, because what we're hoping for is then we can put all that together in the draft and get it to you on that OneDrive ahead of time so that we can vote for any of these amendments at that next meeting.
Grace, what were those three plat items? 211.
3.8, and 6.7.
Okay, thank you.
Just a general question on that. Is there any need, or does it make a difference if we amend our rules and procedures prior to amending the ordinance that still calls out these things?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, okay.
Is there anything else with that, Kim, that you would want to add on?
No, we don't have a plat committee. We don't want a plat committee. The reference to the plat committee should be eliminated from the ordinance and from the policy and procedure.
Our ordinance still references a plat committee.
Yeah.
So that was my question, if we have one that does and one that doesn't, is
We're
there?
not a problem.
Okay.
And we're addressing the ordinance issue.
Okay.
Gonna get that cleaned up too.
But that's a good question, because we are going to clean that up, but I didn't think about which should come first, the chicken or the egg. Yeah, so I'm glad you asked that, Amanda. Okay. Anything else on that, Grace?
No, that's all right now. There may be other things that we find, but that's it right now.
So yeah, we'll throw it all into the OneDrive, and Grace will do like the markup copy so you see what we've removed or amended. And then again, if you guys have any suggestions, we'll put it out there so that we can make sure we're all on the same page.
Okay, so the sooner the better then.
Yeah, if you can. Again, it's gonna take some time, and I know you guys are all busy, so just as you get chances and kind of go through each section, we'd love to hear your feedback on it, for sure. Okay, so we talked a little bit. You also will see in your packet, you've got your meeting calendar that I'm sure you all frame and put, somewhere very important each year. But thank you, Grace, for finishing that up because it's super helpful. So we wanted to just kind of talk about some 2026 initiatives. And Amanda kind of alluded to this, and Kim as well. We are looking to do some text amendments to our unified development ordinance. And I think that most of you know what that is, but I brought this hard copy, and then Grace pulled it up here. So whenever we look at developments, like when we get a development plan in, something that, whatever it may be, if it's just general permits, if it's a subdivision, any sort of project coming up, we reference everything in this UDO. So we look at what it's zoned. Typically developments are commercial. So this is Title 18. This is on the city's website. So anybody can access this. Here's a hard copy here. I would be willing to print off if you need hard copies, but anybody can access this off of our website, and I'll show you how to get to it when we're done here. But if a development comes in, when we talk about the codes and the things that we look at in the staff report, it's this. It's Title 18. If it's a commercial, it's 18.88. We look through, here's district intent, permitted uses, what's allowed in that district. And then we go through and there are development standards. So this tells us how big the lot should be, how wide the lot should be. We look at the size of the buildings, the setbacks of the development. All of that is on here. So we reference this every time on a staff report, but I just want you guys to know that you can always look at it too. It's always available on the website. If you've ever got questions or you get your staff report and you're looking at something and you're like, hey, I think it says this, you know, in the commercial district, you can always talk about it. We'll always answer questions. There's additional development standards for every project here. So we have a few things in these standards, and it's not just commercial. I just use that as an example, but there are some items that we have historically looked at, and we've been making a list for the last year of some certain standards that we feel like should be amended. One easy one that you guys are probably familiar with, maybe more of the BZA is familiar with it, but it's driveway widths. So for years, we've been doing variances because our driveway standard says 20 foot at approach, and people are building that third bay and they want 30 foot. So they don't want to pull out and come this way. They just want to pull straight out. So we've been doing these variances for, I don't know, Amanda, probably 3 years or something.
Yeah.
So in talking to engineering, talking to street department, we're like, are we okay doing a 30 foot wide instead of a 20 foot? Yeah, let's amend this. So that's an amendment that we would like to do to the UDO. There's other ones, there's some that are just text amendments, some cleaning up the language, maybe making it make sense a little bit more, some definitions that maybe we reference something, but we have no definition for it. So there's a lot of things that might just be text amendments. There's some other ones that are development standard that we need to clean up, that I have contracted with Abbott Marsh, which is a company that I've been using for our TIF district that we all kind of talked about. So I contacted them this year to kind of look at some of these with us. We will consult other departments as well, go through anything that might be changing standards that might affect any other infrastructure, any department. But what I'm hoping to do is, in the years past, we have kind of felt like the UDO is a sacred document, and it is to sorts, but it should also be a living document. We shouldn't look at it and then never change it. You know, we had this initial UDO was done in 2008, and we made if any, maybe one amendment that I can think of from 2008 to amending it in 2023.
Retha, before you go too much farther, well, how does the UDO, which is a unified development ordinance, differ from a zoning ordinance that we had for many years?
So this gives more detailed development standards. A zoning ordinance just says this is what you're zoned, but this included way more development standards when this was done in 2008, referencing the comp plan. I mean, it goes through a lot more information than the basic zoning ordinance that was in place prior to 2008.
But before we had the zoning ordinance, as you said, and we had a development standards ordinance, which proscribed driveway width, et cetera.
Yeah.
Does the UDO just essentially merge those two?
It does. It merged the development standard together and the zoning codes and ordinance together and brought it. And then we made it part of our entire, so when you look at our Angola municipal code,
Well, yeah, of course.
it's Title 18 now. It didn't used to be. It was separate. It was not there. But once we merged it, it became Title 18 of the whole code.
Okay, that's just a number, but I understand.
Yes. Does that make sense?
To me, it does.
Okay. So the UDO was done in 2008. We rarely make changes to it. Since then, I've learned that a lot of communities do fairly regularly make amendments to their Unified Development Ordinance. Sometimes they're just text amendments. Sometimes they're development standard amendments that make more sense. So there are some things that we are going to look at, and my hope is that this first 6 months of 2026, we can get ready and do a big amendment. I don't think that I'll need to do another one in 2026, but I'm willing to. I don't want this to sit on our shelves and say, well, this is exactly what it is. Amanda and I deal with developers all the time that the landscape ordinance. I mean, I can't tell you how many landscape variances that we have done, and you guys have seen them in our development plans. Is ours a little too robust? Do we maybe need to make some alterations? You know, I've talked to a few communities and looked at that. So we're investigating some of that. So that is a plan for at least the first half of 2026 and maybe the last half if we have to come back. One of these, I'll just tell you very quickly, estate residential is acre lots. And this is one, so I will preference this as well. There are some text amendments that I think that we can do on our own. There are some major amendments, again, to the development standards that I will utilize Abbott Marsh for. And one of these is that we allow accessory dwelling units in estate residential. Estate residential is an acre lot. It is, I don't remember how many feet it can be wide. It's a big lot. With this update, so a correction that we'll make is we permitted accessory dwelling units to be in traditional residential as well. So the standards for the accessory dwelling are right here, and they only reference the estate residential district. And they tell us how big it can be, the minimum size it should be, what it has to do. Again, this is on an acre lot. We permitted it in a traditional residential lot, which can be 40 foot wide. So we didn't change or update those standards at all. That's a correction that needs to be made. We need to look at that and see, okay, we allow estate residential, we need to change the standards, what it can be in estate residential and what it can be in traditional residential, the accessory dwelling units. So those are just some of the changes that we are looking at that we're gonna make in this upcoming year. So if you guys, I know most of you are familiar with this. I don't know if you ever go online and look at it. I don't know if you've received a hard copy, if you've received the link to it, anything like that, but anything that we can help you do and explain it to you. If you want to learn how to kind of maneuver through it, come in and see Grace or I at any time. Or Amanda, if she's available, she can always show you too. But always come in and ask us. We'll spend a little bit of time and explain the districts, explain how we maneuver through this. Each one of your zone districts are here on this page. And these are all the development standards. So when you do an update, it has to go to Plan Commission and you guys do a recommendation to the council. So why I'm telling you all of this and babbling about it is that you will see each one of those updates. You have to look at them. You have to recommend if that makes sense and move it on to council.
And that was going to be my question.
Yes. The next thing is that we did a comprehensive plan update in 2022. So the comp plan is another thing that you see us reference on all of our staff reports. The comprehensive plan tells us how we believe as a community we should grow, where we should look at our zone districts, where, we have every one of them are in here, what our objectives are. You guys see that on every staff report. If you do not have a copy of the comp plan and you want one, ask us and we will get that for you. This is still a good comp plan. We don't need to do another full update, but we need to do a review and just make sure that there's no amendments. So the last half of 2026, we're going to look through some of this. And we'll probably have a committee that does that, but we're just going to look through and make sure that there's nothing here that we need to amend or change. our community changes regularly, where we think we want to grow, what we think is happening. It changes pretty regularly, but every 5 years, a review should be done of this. So we will look at the last half of 2026, and if we need to do any amendments to this, it'll be done in 2027. So,
Is that available online?
yes, I think it's on our website. I think it's under forms and documents. Do you guys know? I'll have to look.
I usually just search for it. It is on there.
It's on there, but I can't-
Search bar and put in
Yeah.
comprehensive plan.
Yeah,
thought
so
it
you should
was.
find this online as well. The second thing that you will see in your packets is this Chapter 1, Plan Commission Basics. So this is a guide. Again, we have this, I have this whole entire guide electronically. It talks about Plan Commission, BZA. It talks about communication, how to run a meeting, what the etiquette is. It talks about ethics or zoning ordinance. It goes through a lot of information. This is just basics on the Plan Commission. So if you guys get a chance, again, I know your time is very valuable, and so I am not trying to give you tons of homework, but I would love for you to just kind of go through this, look at, understand what it is we do, why we do that, what it looks like to have a conflict of interest, you know, just running these meetings, how we should do them, what makes sense. So we gave you this. If you want this whole thing, I can send that to you electronically as well. It's not huge, but it's got some great information in it. But Grace kindly copied just the Plan Commission for you guys. So look through that too, if you can. And again, just to recap, you've got your calendar, rules and procedures to kind of go through and take home, as well as the Plan Commission basics. And then just be aware that some updates to our Unified Development Ordinance will be coming in the future, and they will come before you. But also be aware that that's there and it's on the website. So whenever you get a staff report and, you know, anything from us, oops, I just got totally out of it. It's on the home page right here under municipal code. So this is, our Facebook is getting updated, so this might look a little different in the near future, but under municipal code, and you click municipal code again, and we are, here's all of our city ordinances and whatever, but we govern, and what you guys govern on this committee is Title 18, the Unified Development Ordinance. Is there any questions, concerns, worries, stressors? Not liking any of this? Don't want homework? Don't care? Any of that? No? You noticed that you accepted that nomination before I started going through all of this, Susan.
I did.
Okay. And that's really all we have. Austin, do you have any report from county?
Yeah, I do have not necessarily a report as much of as a request probably. So in the last, obviously the ETJ is a piece and a big reason why I'm here and why Jeff is assigned to us. You know, in the last 2 years, as I've been liaison, the county's provided 2 proposals for interlocal agreements. We just sent one out about a month ago, beginning of December. Amanda responded to that. Thank you. That was some good input. But really it's been crickets around that. And I know that it's been going on a lot longer than before I've been here. So for 2 years, you know, we've been kind of trying to get something in writing, and an effort just to make kind of a guideline for the board members that will be here in the future, the boards in the future, you know, just establish, you know, taking away gray areas, things like that. So my leadership's asked me to request from you guys some sort of plan. Like, you know, we've come up with these proposals. We've had some feedback, but it's been pretty minimal.
So the last one that was sent.
May I take that question?
Yeah, go ahead.
We'll be entering a interlocal agreement in the near future. It'll be the simpler form that your people supplied.
Okay, can I get like an approximate date, like by next month, by summertime, by 2030?
I was ready to go. I mean,
it's been a long
35, is
time.
that good?
You know,
Well, the history of
and
that is,
frankly, never
Yeah,
mind.
go ahead.
There was a lot of
yeah,
horse shit in some of those proposals. And it's been cleaned up, pared down. I was ready to go with it in December. And the mayor wanted to hold off because he had stuff going on. So we're going to take a look at that. He said first of the year, so I would say soon.
we're not married to anything, you know, we had our attorney draw something up and that was what they came up with and, again, great feedback and, you know,
yeah, we have,
in my opinion, shorter is sweeter as well, so.
I
you know,
agree.
that's
There
a
were
Shorter
some-
one covered the
thing.
important things.
That's what we're
yes,
looking for.
there were some changes that would have needed to be made on the other one. The shorter one made more sense for us. The mayor and Kim and I kind of went over some things Amanda had her response to. I've met with Clint and Charlie both. So we definitely want to move forward. We kind of initiated the interlocal agreement conversation a couple years ago, but then the initial proposal that was sent was absolutely not something we were willing to do. So it's just gone back and forth on the table. So yeah, absolutely. That's something that we're looking for.
All right, well,
soon.
just so you know, they're
Yes.
leaning on me now.
Thank you.
And so I will be bringing this up monthly until we do get to that
Yeah,
point
it'll
where we can
happen.
sign off on an agreement.
Thank you, Austin.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
That's all that I have for you.
Austin, will you reiterate, they need the legal description in that, they can't just say 2 miles, that's not accurate.
Actually, I brought that up,
Okay.
your comments up in our last meeting, so it definitely is front of mind for them. And, you know, whatever it is that
Yeah.
you guys propose, if it's more in line with what the agreement actually is, all the better. So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I used you as an example, Amanda, so you're officially
Yeah,
in our
because
minutes.
when we annex, the 2 mile doesn't change. So that 2 mile is not actually a 2 mile in most of those
Makes perfect sense.
locations.
I understand, yep.
Yeah. Okay, is that it?
That was all I had, yep.
Okay, and then were you appointed to continue as a liaison?
Yep, so we had
Okay,
our
good.
voting last week, whatever day that was, Wednesday.
Okay,
So-
I was waiting to
Just
hear,
stuck with
so I
me another
hadn't
year.
heard yet. Awesome. All right.
And we actually have a name tag and seat for Jeff now too, so.
Ooh, so he's
I think
like
he's the one
official
that
now.
has that, yeah.
He just emailed it to us and said he was willing to continue that, so good. I'm glad. Okay, and that is all I have, Madam President.
Anybody else have anything before we close this meeting? We're adjourned.
All right, thank you.